Two, one. All right, here you go. All right, everyone. We are back with another Kind Hearts Mobilecast interview, and today we will be interviewing the awesome, talented Savannah Rigby, and her artist name, which she does music as well, is Sabby. So, given hello, hello, Savannah. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How you doing? We have she was kind of 9 a.m. Interview. So everyone's kind of still waking up, I guess. I hope you got your
Definitely.
coffee. Yeah. But yeah, so Savannah is one of the models at our Botanical Garden Extravaganza. And yeah, give us a little introduction to yourself, Savannah.
Okay. I never know where to start when people say give an introduction or tell me about yourself. So I am a Bahamian American. So I'm not originally from Pittsburgh. I'm originally from this island of the Bahamas called Grand Bahama in the city of Freeport. So I grew up there and I started a bit of like modeling and pageantry at about age 12. And from there, it led me to Pittsburgh because I ended up in a pageant that got me a scholarship to Point Park University here in Pittsburgh, downtown.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
so yeah, so yeah, I go to school and I study forensic science like on a major scale, and I do modeling on the side as well as music. I'm still pushing myself here and there out there some more. I do a little modeling work with like small photographers and the ones that reach out to me, stuff like that. And yeah, I have my own little like home studio, just like sits on my table, and like I just work on my music whenever I get a chance to. So that's a
Awesome.
little bit about me.
Very nice. Very multifaceted and diverse background. Or yeah, so tell us, okay, there's a lot to all unpack right there. So
There it
let's
is.
start let's start with the first of all, I've never heard someone call themselves someone from the Bahamas is Bahamian, right?
Bahamian, yeah.
Bahamian. Okay, yeah, I didn't know. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's very interesting to yeah,
Yeah,
fun
that's
fact.
the term.
Yeah, there you go. And then
We're Bahamians.
and you said you started pageantry at age 12. So what was that like? Like
Yes.
what was the story behind that?
So I was never really like a girly girl, honestly.
Mhm.
And my mom would like, I mean, I wasn't like necessarily tomboyish, but I was like somewhere in between there. Like, yeah, I like to wear like girly tops, but to say like wear a skirt or wear a dress, not really, didn't really enjoy it as much. And like my mom would always try to get me to dress more girly. And I was like, hey, well, maybe if I try a pageant, I'd get more in touch with like my girly side because I always loved performing. I believe my first like singing performance was probably like in the first grade.
Oh wow.
So I always loved performing. So definitely that. But in terms of like being on stage and wearing dresses and like showing off outfits, which was like similar to like being on stage singing, I never really got into that. So I was like, hey, sure, why not? And I placed first runner up in my first pageant, so that actually went pretty well.
Wow. Very nice.
So yeah, and from there I was like, okay. I hadn't went into another pageant after that until I was, I believe, 17 or 18. So it
Uh
wasn't like a really big gap in between there,
yeah.
but yeah, it was a pretty nice experience. And from there, um, I lost the second one, and then I won the third one.
Mm.
And then from the third one, I went on to compete in like a national pageant in the Bahamas. So I was Miss Grand Bahama Island teenager,
Oh
and I
wow. Very
competed
nice.
in right,
That's
and I
dope.
competed in Miss Bahamas teenager, which got me the scholarship to come to Pittsburgh. And in Pittsburgh, since I'm like a dual citizen, I had competed in Miss Lancaster, PA. I was actually supposed to compete in Miss Railroad City, I believe.
Hmm.
After that, in order to go to Miss Pennsylvania, but I didn't end up doing it because it was like really difficult with like transportation and like not having like family here to take me out of the city to go to these other cities to compete. But it's okay. Obviously, I'm like married now. I can't compete in those type of pageants anymore. But I am excited like in the future to do like Mrs. pageants and like mommy and me pageants, which would be pretty fun in the future. So yeah.
Yeah. Very nice, very nice. That's dope. And so I figured like from that first pageant that you won first at, it was like a big confidence booster. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah, for sure. So
It's like maybe dresses are nice.
yeah, for sure. Yeah. And you're a student at Point Park, right? When do you graduate?
I actually graduate next month.
Oh, very nice. Oh,
Yeah.
congratulations, girly,
Thank you.
congratulations. And what made you choose forensic science as your major?
So I mean, it's a pretty dark thing to like talk about necessarily. But so back home, I wouldn't say like the crime rate is high, but when we do have certain like crimes or children going like missing,
Mm,
like I feel like the system is not really good at figuring out what happened. So I just like always wanted to be like, okay, I see how hurt these families are because I have a friend specifically whose like brother was burnt in a car by his friends,
oh,
quote
geez.
unquote, and no one knew what exactly was the story behind that for at least 6 or 7 years prior to his death.
Mm.
And so it just made me want to be one of those people to actually be intelligent enough to figure out what happened and bring closure to families. So
Oh, wow.
that's to bring it to a short thing. Yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very empathetic on your part. Yeah, that's really cool. That's an interesting story for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah,
It's dark, but it's interesting.
yeah, dark, but interesting. But and so like, so you do forensic science, pageantry, and you also do music. And
Yes.
let's unpack that a little bit. How did you get into music, and or what kind of music genre do you label yourself as, or currently, I guess?
So I would say I fit in like a jazz slash R&B category.
Very nice.
So honestly, I mean, I know to people it might sound cliche, but like I've never really done like long-term vocal training.
Mhm.
Um, I've I just I guess my parents just realized someday that like, hey, she can sing. Like, let's push her to do something at school or something. And yeah, like they just knew that I could sing. We just knew that I could sing, and then from there, we just tried to get me to do little stuff at school. So at school, you'd have like performances at assemblies or like singing a national anthem, and then there were like district competitions within the island. So we would call them like the National Arts Festival. Those I did a lot of poetry. I did poetry and I did singing and dancing a lot with those, starting at like the third grade. When I like switched from my first school to my second school. My second school pushed me a lot with like the poetry. And then my third school, when I went to for high school, starting in the seventh grade, pushed me a lot in terms of like the singing. So I would do like jazz competitions. I would do like group dance competitions, like R&B duets. I don't have like my plaques here with me in Pittsburgh or like back
Yeah,
home in the Bahamas, but we were always like first and second place, did
very
pretty
nice.
good. I believe one year I won like jazz overall in the country, like the entire
Oh,
Bahamas
wow.
in
Very
terms of
nice.
scores. So
Wow.
yeah, and then over like the quarantine, I had started like a YouTube channel, which I actually go by Savannah the Great on that.
Hmm.
And kind of like my music name, I go by like STG to make it smaller. But yeah, so
Swear to God, Savannah the Great. That's awesome. Savannah the Great. Swear to God, that's awesome. That's cool.
right,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I go to like my like STG. So I started a YouTube channel during like quarantine, and I did like a lot of covers. I like followed off of it, followed the grid with that a little bit, but I mean, I have been like posting my own music on there
Mm.
and like on SoundCloud and Audio Mac. I just recently got a new bought a new beat license for a
Hmm.
song that I like wrote months ago that I just like put together. I just needed to like be like finished, like mixed and remastered and stuff like that. And I'll put that out. So yeah, I mean I've just been pushing my music out there. I'm considering making a TikTok as
Mm.
annoying as and like attention seeking TikTok can be, because
Hmm.
I feel like I'm a little scared to make one. I might be
Yeah.
scrolling on there for longer than I should be. So I've been like trying not to make one, but people have been telling me like, hey, I feel like you're definitely like so talented, but you like having to post on these other pages, it's focused on the people who follow you. With TikTok, you can end up on random people's For You page. You need to make a TikTok.
Yeah.
So like I'm pushing towards like possibly doing that. So that's like my music journey a little bit there.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. And there, yeah, we could, when on our follow-up interviews, we can like, I guess check in with your journey and how you're doing with all that stuff. So you got any like EPs coming out soon, or are you working on one?
Yeah, that one that I'm thinking about it. So the one song that I'm trying to put out will be like my third song I have out. The first one, wasn't really happy with how that turned out. So I feel like the producer of the beat did his own thing with like the beat that he made. No
Mm,
offense to him. Definitely appreciated him for his work, but it didn't turn out how I wanted it. The second one, loved it. Was very proud of it. Proud of what I put out. The third one, working on that, and then I'm thinking that after I put out a few things and I have something out there to keep pushing towards like people listening, then I'll be like, okay, maybe I'll drop like an EP with like 5 songs, 7 songs, or something,
mm.
and people be hype about it, and I'll have people ready to listen. And yeah, so thinking
Very
about
nice.
it
Very
and planning
nice.
towards it.
Slow and steady, or like very
Yeah,
patient with your craft and all that stuff, and like very
yeah.
calculated. That's awesome. That's very awesome. And then so like you're a forensic scientist in training. You're you do music, and then you also do modeling. And when you're about to model at this fashion show coming up,
Yeah.
so how does that fit in all with your like pursuits, and how do you balance all
Hmm.
that?
I mean, it's not hard necessarily because I mean I do
For
have a
you,
full
I'm
time
just joking.
job.
Yeah,
No.
and you got a full time job. Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
I actually work as a pharmacy technician at like
Oh,
a
man.
CVS location
Mm-hmm.
here in Pittsburgh. So yeah, I mean I got a full time job, full time school, and I mean honestly I've always pictured having like a forensic science job that maybe I work at for like 4 days a week or
Mm-hmm.
something. Not too crazy, not too like low. Because I mean I hate that people say that you have to pursue one thing. They always tried to tell me like, "Oh, you're too smart to go pursue music," but like, no, that's one of the things I'm passionate about, so I
Mm-hmm.
should be able to do that. So with that, I just like try to fit in my schedule on like some weekends, at least 1 or 2 weekends a month. I have the time to say, well, okay, if something modeling wise comes up, this is when I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, I have like my job that I do every week of the month, and that's fine. But I try to keep myself like within the boundaries of like, okay, I'm only going to work Monday through Friday.
Mm-hmm.
That job is not going to be on my Saturdays and Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
So I have like those Saturdays and Sundays for like those kind of stuff. And then music, I try to find the time whenever I'm free and I got nothing else to do to get that music craft, but get that time put in like a hobby, just in like, hey, I know I have this one day for 4 hours. I'm gonna keep recording this song until I get it right. And if I
Mm.
get a chance, I can work on the second song. And that's basically how I got it done.
Very nice. Wow. Um, in terms of your modeling stuff, like how would you describe your current aesthetic? I know I'm pretty sure it's constantly evolving, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've still been trying to feel out different like modeling categories.
okay.
So I I don't know, and I think it's more that I'm still learning as well. So
Okay,
I don't
fair.
know if I can pinpoint something specific.
Are there, in terms of modeling, are there like certain models that you look up to, or
I mean,
you just like looking good on stage and in pictures?
I mean, definitely that for sure. I mean, there's people I look up to, but to say like, honestly, I'm not good with names.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
you're
really good
fine.
with faces.
Hmm.
I'm really good with faces, so I can like see them in my mind, but like to be able to call their names, I don't want to botch anybody's name up. So
Yeah.
yeah, but I definitely have some that I do look up to.
Uh, regarding music, who are your creative inspirations?
That's a good question. So I mean, some of these answers are definitely gonna be cliche.
Hmm.
So probably heard it a million times. Growing up, I definitely listened to a lot of Beyonce. Um, I love me some Nina Simone in terms of like jazz. Love me some Nina. Love me some Ella Fitzgerald. Love me some Alicia Keys. I definitely try to push more in learning how to play some more instruments because of Alicia, because
Mm,
I feel like that helped her to get further in her career, being able
yeah.
to like play and produce and write her own music
Hmm.
and sing it too.
Hmm.
Definitely love me some Jennifer Hudson and a lot many other artists that I won't be able to name all at once
Yeah,
right
yeah,
now,
yeah.
but
Yeah, well, I mean,
those are
those.
definitely my top ones.
Yeah, yeah, very good. That's a good little, top, I guess, board to have.
Yeah,
Yeah, as like, guiding your music path. That's very cool.
definitely.
Very cool. Very cool. Um, yeah. So yeah, you're like so multifaceted and still very young and like where in terms of where do you see do you just want to keep going along the way like with balancing, or do you want, is there something that you want to, or that you're maybe more passionate about others that you see yourself doing like 5 years from now, or like take this question however you want to go.
I mean, sure. I definitely wanted to do modeling to open more doors for
Mm-hmm.
music,
Oh,
especially
very nice,
pageantry as
very
well.
nice.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't say it before, but every pageant that I've been in, I won the talent, so like the talent segment for every single one.
Oh,
I have
that
not
makes sense.
lost one.
Yeah, yeah,
I
that
won
makes
every
sense.
single one in every pageant.
Mm-hmm.
So that definitely got me a lot of attention music wise. So yeah, I definitely wanted to use like the modeling and the pageantry to open doors music wise. And like I said before, a lot of people get into like the arts, and later on after they're like settling down from acting a little bit, or they use it to like pay for school, and then they focus on that job. I still want to do both, so I kind of want to go all the way and go to medical school and become like a medical examiner slash forensic pathologist, but I do want to be able to pursue music as well. So by the time I get to that, I would have hoped that I was like big enough music wise that I'll be doing my music and going to school.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
That's
I may be
awesome.
working 3 or 4 days a week doing like medical examiner jobs. But then I do have like sometimes where I'm like, hey, I'm like going on tour for the weekend or for the
Mm-hmm.
week.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be out, that's kind of how I see it, if definitely the hard work and like the results match basically.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm seeing, and I'm sure since you've been doing it so long, you have a full understanding of what kind of like the work ethic and the grind that is required to have all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So you seem like a hard worker. just just like you're doing all so much stuff. I'm like, oh wow, very, very, very impressive.
Yeah, and I've been open to like other ways of like pushing through like to get more attention, because people have told me like, hey, have you tried like going to open mic nights? And I'm like, huh, that might be a good idea to even try that even more, not being from Pittsburgh, and like I'm moving to like Kansas soon. So I'll probably be like, okay, let me try to do a little bit of open mic nights here in Pittsburgh before I go. And when I go to Kansas, I can probably do some there. And then when I have some time, I can probably like road trip to another state. Let me do some open mic nights there,
Hmm.
just to like try get myself out there, and just exploring different ways of how to get myself out there musically.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah.
trying.
How do
I'm
you like?
thinking about some stuff.
Very, very nice.
Sorry.
Very nice. No, no, no. I was saying no. That's dope. I'm just saying. I'm just curious. Like, how do you like living in Pittsburgh, or for the time that you've been
Um,
here for school and stuff?
yeah, I've been here for about almost 3 years now.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's different, and I like the city feel. Like it's not like busy city like New York, but it's like a
Yeah.
nice, steady pace city. I really liked living in Pittsburgh. It's been pretty nice. The
Very
people
nice.
aren't too crazy. They're like pretty friendly, I would say. Yeah. So it's been nice living in Pittsburgh.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice. And it's just interesting. So we had them fill out little surveys. The models fill out surveys so we could like better prepare for this. But then it's just it's interesting how, I mean, you said you mentioned how people say you're like you're too talented or whatever. They like people other years, so you're noting that people notice these things about you, right?
Mhm.
And then you said you were told that what's interesting is your balance because of how well you manage all the things you're doing all at once.
Mhm.
So what kind of advice could you give like aspiring artists on balance?
Well, I would definitely say there's nothing wrong with pursuing one thing if that's what you want to do. You just have to like give as much of yourself as possible. But I always find time for rest. I don't like when people say, oh well, while you're sleeping somebody else is on the grind. Like, honey, if you're tired, you're not going to be able to give all of yourself that you can. So I'm definitely for sleep. I sleep whenever I can. Like, I sleep as much as possible. But in terms of if you want to pursue multiple things, don't let anybody tell you you have to focus on one thing. It's not true. You can definitely do it all, and there are many people that have done it all, and they are like proof that you can do it all. I would say just try to make sure you can manage your time. I still have fun. It might sound like I'm busy and I don't find the time to go out, but I do still find the time to have fun. It's just I know when to prioritize my schoolwork and my crafts over like going out with some friends, and it's just that. Like, you have to make sure that you're balancing, finding time for everything that's important. If you say that it's important, you need to find the time for all that you claim is important and put in the effort, because you'll see the difference in the things that you put more time in if you don't give one thing as much time as the other. That's pretty much it.
Very nice, very nice. Yeah, that was a really great answer. I'll like edit this clip out. This is I feel I play it. I'm posting it immediately. Anyway,
It's
but
fine.
yeah, and so we're coming out. So everyone, we're coming to the end of our little introductory interview. So I was just gonna say, if people said if someone comes up to you and be like, oh, what kind of general advice can you give to like aspiring artists or someone who wants to be better, or someone maybe that someone comes up to you like, oh, can you give me some advice how to be more like you, or however you want to take this?
Okay. Well, being someone that's not from Pittsburgh, I would say I always ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Like, if you want to be more like me, ask me um what I did to get where I am at. What I did was try to make connections. Honestly, the key to life in any job field possible is the people that you know. And people try to make it seem like it's other things like, oh, you don't work hard enough. I'm sorry, but the key is who you know. Don't be afraid to network, and don't be afraid to ask questions with the people you know and meet more people. Like, you got to get yourself out there. You got to get networking with people to get yourself out there. That's honestly, I think, one of the main keys to anybody in the general field.
So then, okay, now the next question would be like, let's say there's a socially awkward, like very shy, aspiring art, but with like artistic ambitions, and then they go, how do I become better a networker? It seems like you're a very good person, people person.
I mean, I don't know. I can be very like sociable and friendly with people that I do know. Um, but I can be not necessarily socially awkward. I feel like I'm good at hiding it, but I do have like social anxiety on the inside when I'm like meeting somebody new. But I tend to test the energy in the room or the energy with the person, and that makes a big difference for me. Um, so I mean, I don't know. I think it's more. I wouldn't say being like an actor, an actress, or but sometimes you just gotta fake it. Unfortunately, I mean, you just gotta look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself like, hey, I'm gonna go in there and I'm just gonna do this. Like, I mean, hey, I was a little nervous. I was like, hey, how am I gonna go on this meeting and interview and say, like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. And I was just like, you know what, let me just be myself. Like, sometimes you have to breathe and be like, you know what, I'm just gonna be myself, and however people take it, that's fine. Like, just think that it's just you talking to yourself in the mirror, talking to someone you're comfortable with, and you'll be just fine. Sell yourself.
Hell yeah. Be unapologetically yourself. There you go.
Exactly.
That's some good shit right there. Yeah, Savannah, uh very great introductory interview that we've had so far. You can catch her at the Botanical Garden Extravaganza on March 26th. And hopefully she will dazzle you with her stage presence. Right. So anyway, but thank Savannah, thank you so much for your time. You could,
Thank you for
yeah,
having me.
yeah. Any you got any last word you want to, you can shout out your socials and all that stuff, all that. Yeah, say hey mom, look at Savannah.
Hi. Well,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm pretty much Ivana though on everything. On Instagram it's underscore Ivana THO. On Twitter it's just Vana THO. Yeah. Snapchat, it's Savannah.Stacia. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Very nice. All right. All right. Thank you, Savannah, for your time. Thank you for everyone tuning in. And we shall catch you on the flip side. All right. March 26th, everyone. All right. Have a good one.